What is up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond. I'm back with my own new review of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And here lies the final twirl of Kenya Summer Moore. Because the way she ended things off, the way this episode went, whew, she did the final twirl. She did the final Gone with the Wind Fabulous. And I'm mad. Because I'm so mad about the way she went about it. I'm not mad at what she did to discover information about Brillo Pad, but I just hate the way she used it for her event. I just hate it. But I feel like I'm going to understand where her headspace was towards the end, but let's get into it. We got Shamia. She's inviting Angela and Brisket over, and she wants things to still keep moving forward between her and Angela, since Angela did accept her olive branch at her bank dinner. I like that. In the midst of making peace with Angela, Shamia wants to know how she can make peace with Brochure and Kenya. And I feel like Brochure is trying to play on being genuine and being so nice without having a full face of makeup, not being all dolled up, looking like a wreck, because she wants to look like she's in an extremely bad place. She looks extremely exhausted. She looks extremely tired. She's feeling so guilty. Girl, bye. Angela also talks about she did not get much sleep either, because she was on the phone with the owner of that vault place to smooth things over, because they were like concerned about what took place at the event and should we beef up security. I mean, you guys are in Bankhead though. Bankhead is the ghetto of Atlanta, so I don't see how you are nervous about receiving bad reviews of your establishment when your establishment was seen on a huge platform. I don't think that you're gonna lose any business out of it. Sometimes bad publicity is good publicity. So you can't really be this nervous about what took place when you agreed for your show to be on camera, because you wanted the exposure. You know what I'm saying? You wanted the expose of it all, but fine. So we got bronchitis. She's living in the land of milk and cookies because she believes that Kenya cut her off. And Shamia thought that Brisket would have felt that way because she don't like when people cut others off. But Brisket did not get cut off by Kenya. The question was asked, can Kenya be nice to her? Kenya said, I can be nice to everybody, but not allowing for Kenya to finish it. She want to get mad about, we're not talking about everybody, we're talking about me. So Kenya wasn't about to go back and forth with her. So she let her have it. This was all about her not liking her answer. Because I think that Botanical likes to take in things as it is a dig towards her. So she holds on to things. And when she gets in that moment when she wants to like defend herself, it comes out all wrong. It comes out confusing. Because nobody can understand how you can feel like this. And when it comes to who wrote the question, can you be nice to Bread over here? It was actually written by Angela. I didn't know that Angela would have been the one to ask that question. Here I'm thinking it was Kelly, or it could have been production, or it could have been Britt writing two questions. Who knows, right? But Angela, to me, was being political in her response, on being on her side as well as Kenya's side, because when they met about the park, excuse me, Brisket feels like that Kenya was giving her this nice, nasty energy, being a bit snooty. And Angela just agreed. She did not give her own opinion. She just said, okay, I can understand how you can feel. I can understand how you can see it that way. Because Angela has not received any energy the way that Britt is describing from Kenya. But she is trying to give bronchitis that energy or that support. Okay, I can see how that makes you feel without agreeing that that's how Kenya was treating you, because she don't agree, but she's giving her that space of saying, okay, well, that's how you feel. I'm gonna give you that space of that's how you feel. Very sneaky and messy, because Angela is now being added to the blame, but apparently before her question got answered, everything was already going haywire. But she's acknowledging that she felt some way about Kenya, but she's not agreeing to it. Because Kenya had majority of the questions being asked, so by the time everything happened, it was no point. But I do think that bronchitis is trying to clean up that this isn't what I meant. Like, this is how I get when I get provoked, okay? But Brochure, nobody provoked you. You were waiting for the opportunity to act as if you were being provoked. Nobody was trying to intimidate you. So for you to say, I don't want anybody to feel like I was in any shape, form, or fashion trying to intimidate her. That's not what I was doing. But that's what you expected. You expected to be on the defense side and everybody understand how you can defend yourself with the way she treats you, but nothing was done to you for you to retaliate in that way. And Shamia asked her, does she have any siblings? Yes, she has two older sisters. And they have this back and forth. We hate each other. We love each other. We throw digs at one another, but we always support one another in the end. And it's like, that's what you wanted out of Kenya. You wanted to have this love-hate relationship with her. You wanted to have this back and forth relationship like a sister. But it didn't happen the way you expected it to happen. And right now, you will never be in the space of being any type of friend or associate of Kenya, okay? Because the way that she wants to plead that she's really a nice girl and very sweet, it's all a bunch of bullshit. That's all it is to me. So then we asked Angela, did she talk to Charles about what Portia said? She said no. Because she was like, people think they can get me to crack when they mention my husband, but I'm married to a celebrity. There have been plenty of people who comes into my DMs telling me they think they know about my husband that I don't, okay? And here go Britt promoting violence by saying, if anybody wants to accuse my husband of something, they're going to get slapped. Girl, the way you promote violence like it's nobody's business, you are about that life. So for me, you can't go back and forth with, that's not what I meant, that's not what I was going to do, but that's how exactly you do. That's exactly how you operate. Like even in a hypothetical, you are invoking harm on somebody. Now, a lot of people do it, but the way you do it, no. Moving on from there. So we see Kenya. She's at her hair salon getting a couple things ready for her grand opening. Portia and Kelly comes by. They look great. Portia is happy with how things are moving forward with her and Kenya in their friendship, and she wants to make sure they stay in that space. There's no telling now because you are all buddy-buddy with Brillo Pad over there, so I don't know how you and Kenya are moving forward in this space. So Kelly tells Kenya she is such a great host, and Kenya said, I was not always told I was a good host. Then it flashes back to her first and last cast trip to either North or South Carolina, where Kenya did not order any food for the girls. She only ordered food for herself. So Kenya was seeing some models for her salon opening. She's going to have a hair show. And who else is coming? She invited everybody. At the dinner, everybody was coming. But what took place with Britt, she did not reach out to uninvite her. I think she should have. Now, Kelly said she didn't know what happened. Because Kenya was like, I thought the night was going well. And then what took place after everybody left, that's when I heard what I heard. So Portia said, listen, what was said at the dinner can't be fixed. But if you walking out and you mentioning a weapon, that's got to be broken all the way down. So what needs to be said was, that's not cool. Now, Kelly, for you to say you didn't hear it, that's a crock of bullshit, because she was right there next to you going off looking for Mike, saying, I don't play about me. Okay, I got whips, I got pistols, I got everything, honey. Don't play with a bitch like me, okay? Like, miss me, Kelly, okay? Everybody heard her. Even when she was outside yelling in the parking lot, she was still mic'd up where everybody can hear her. Now, Kenya said, no, don't tell me what you think I heard and what I didn't hear. I heard what I heard. You're not going to gaslight me. You're not going to make up lies. You're not going to say that's not what I heard. It's what I wished I heard. No. Everybody heard it. Everybody read it. Everybody heard it. Like the way that she came at me with so much aggression and angst towards me, I haven't done anything to her. I haven't said nothing about her to act like a clown. I didn't do any of that. I did not sin for clownery behavior. Now, Kelly was being super dramatic with the way she was not liking the way Kenya described Brisket's behavior. And of course, Kelly is defending her by saying that's not who she is. She's never done that to me. She's not that type of person. And Kenya's like, you can't tell me how a person is. When I see them in front of me and how they behave, that's how their behavior is. That's who they are. And she even said it earlier. She acts this way when she's provoked, okay? The real bronchitis comes out, right? So Kenya said, I have too much to lose. So I cannot deal with a person like this. This is not safe for me. Now, Kelly cleaned up in the end by saying, I have not seen her act in that manner. So that's when she said, okay, well, just say that. Don't tell me who she is, because obviously I'm seeing exactly who she is. Because I feel like, Kelly, you did a lot of defending Brisket in this episode, but I really want to know, how is it going to be later down the line that you and her are not going to be friends anymore? And Portia tells Kenya she needs to do her due diligence about Bristle. And Kenya said, yeah, I'm going to do more than that. I'm going to run a background check on her. Now, Kelly did have a point by saying, girl, really, you should do a background check on these employees. Oh, that's going to work too, but I do need to run a background check on that hoe. Trust and believe, I'm going to twirl on my haters. Period. But moving on. So now we get Angela and her daughter Amari. They go out on a coffee date. They're discussing all types of coffee. We get to know more about Angela and her daughter and their relationship. Turns out Amari lost her father when she was 7. He was unalived in Chicago, and she went through a journey of being a single mom. They've created a very strong bond, and they've been rocking ever since. I think there's some holes in this bond. So Amari is extremely beautiful, right? So when they were discussing their coffees and everything, Amari was like, we're missing somebody. I thought this would have been some quality time to spend with grandma. Why isn't she here? So Angela got a call from her grandma by saying there needs to be a conversation with Amari. So Amari mentions that she wanted to use the car that Angela provided for her mom. And Amari thought it wouldn't have been an issue to use it. But before she can use the car, her grandma and her aunt wanted some money from her. And her aunt got in her face, called her a demon. And she cussed out everybody else. All because Amari wanted to use her grandma's car. But did you ask if you can use it? And why don't you have your own car? And Amari is just feeling like it's crazy with the way they came at me. When I help them with bills, I'm at their beck and call. What? What are you talking about? How old is Angela's sister? And why does she feel the need to be taken care of? Now, I get your grandma, but what's the real story here? So the backstory of the house that Amari lived with her mom and her aunt, because it was Angela's dream to buy her mom a home. So once she did it, she didn't think it would be an issue, but everything blew up. So Amari moved out, and where is Amari living now? Is she living with you? Did she find her own apartment? Did you pay for an apartment? Questions. So Angela felt like she should have been told this at the last minute. Angela feels like she should have been told this as soon as it happened. Like, as far as my sister getting in your face, that's not cool. That don't fly with me. Nobody messes with my baby. But Amari tells her mom that she wants her to stop financially supporting her sister and her grandma. But I'm like, why do you need to say that? Now, I'm all for cutting off resources for the sister, because the sister should not be taken care of like this. Why the sister needs to be taken care of? I get your grandma, though. But I don't think it was right for Amari to tell her mom she should stop supporting her mom. Does she still support you? Because you're grown. But we also find out that Angela's mom was diagnosed with bipolar disorder when she was 8. And she was prescribed medication. So she had a tough time growing up. But apparently, her mom has self-proclaimed herself to be healed, and that she doesn't need any medication. Was there a time that her mom was not meant to be on medication? Because sometimes you can be on medication for 30 years, but you can become dependent on it. So when at one point did your mom realize she didn't need to use any medication? But it was so weird with the way that Amari tells Angela she wanted her mom to stop supporting her grandma, and then she proceeds to say she loves her grandma. She's the best grandma ever. But in this case, she's wrong. Wrong how? So Angela is kind of like in that game of tug of war. She don't know who to support. She doesn't know who she needs to fuss at, because she always wants to be there for her mom. She feels the need to protect her because of her condition. And I think that Angela needs to handle her mom with kid gloves because of her disorder, because she wants to appear as being the best daughter and maybe not recognizing that there have been some difficulties, there's been some challenges. So I feel like Angela is a glutton for punishment and a people pleaser. I think she is being taken advantage of to care for her family, considering she is maybe the only one who has the financial stability to take care of them. And as far as for sticking up for you, you my baby. But then I find out that you snuck up and got married. Now we see a flashback of her finding out that she got married. And I'm like, why didn't we see this whole scene play out? And why didn't you tell your mother, Amari? Why? And she's like, I don't know. I just did. Angela looked very shocked at this point because how is it you're bragging about how you have a close relationship with your daughter? Y'all went through a lot together, but yet she is the last person to know you got married. So are y'all close or y'all not close? Now, how did she find out about Amari getting married? She found out from her grandma. Now, Amari wants to play victim and make it seem as if her grandma threw her on the bus. No, you probably told your grandma for a reason. You trusted your grandma with this information. So don't make it seem as if it's because y'all had a spat that she's looking to just air you out because she wants you to be hurt. No, it doesn't make it right that you never told your mom you got married. And when they had that conversation, when it was filmed 2 weeks ago, she had already been married for 4 months. Like, how does that work? Now, Amari was being a complete gaslighter and manipulator in this moment because she was like, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. It is a big deal. Why would you hide this from your mother? Are you ashamed of the person you're married to? Does this person work? Does this person have a job? Does he have a place to live? Is it a girl? Is it a boy? I don't know. But for you to be so dismissive over your mother's feelings because you did something wrong, now you're like, why are you feeling this type of way? Why are you mad? Why are you sad? It's like, what? Are you for real? It's giving you probably married a bum that wasn't going to be accepted by your mom or would have never gotten the approval. So you just bit the bullet and decided to marry that person. So that way your mom has no choice but to accept that person. But the way she twisted the entire situation, making it seem as if it's a Paolo and Amari day, everybody's coming at me, baby girl. It's given that there is more to what took place between your mom and your aunt. You're not a victim. You probably played a part in what took place, and now you don't want to be held accountable because you kept being married for your mom a secret. There's got to be a reason why you never told your mom. Why? So while Angela is hurt, she said our communication was broken and now we need to fix it. And she's all about, this is just too much. This is just too much. Everybody's just on me. It's all Paolo and Amari. Everybody's coming up on me. I call cap and bullshit. Like the way that Amari just escaped accountability for the things that she's said and done, for the part she played. Like, girl, you're not a victim in this. And I think maybe that's where Angela started that cycle from. Because I don't think that Angela knows how to be accountable either. I think Angela just goes back and forth with what she can't say, with what she can say, though that way she won't be implicated in what she promised that she can't follow through on. Maybe that's why she's constantly going back and forth with how she should go about her mom and her sister and with Charles. But either way, we're moving on. So Portia meets up with Bristol and she's continuing her apology tour. And obviously she had a fire lit up on her ass by production to make sure she's seen on camera being apologetic, because on Twitter, she denied about having any of these weapons. And when the past episode aired, she was on Twitter saying she's still here, meaning that she still has a job. So to me, Britt is not reaping the consequences of her actions the same way that Kenya is reaping the consequences of her actions after this episode. She admitted that she took this too far and that she is hopeful that Kenya can accept her apology so they can move forward. That ship has sailed. I think when it came down to what took place at the dinner, it was a shock to see y'all have beef, because I didn't think y'all would have beef. When I saw y'all together at Shamia's party, I never thought there would be an issue. So Bronchitis is trying to rewrite history to make it seem as if Kenya has behaved one way when it's her, but then she acts different in front of a group. No, I think that's you. Bridget is just still going on about how she felt that nice, nasty attitude about Kenya mentioning her ring and not knowing if she was married or not. And Portia said, well, the girls don't feel like Kenya's being shady for the ring comment. Again, I don't know where her brain is. She's living in the land of milk and cookies, just using every single thing that she can believe is used as a jab. She's gonna go with it. Something that's so small and so simple, she's going to build it up like it's the most horrifying jab she's ever received. And that is trying to play on my intelligence, and it's not going to work for me. You are trying to rewrite history because you said you don't know when everything went left. You feel like Kenya was trying to haze you, and it's like, how? How does that work? Portia says she didn't do that to Kelly. She didn't do that to Angela. So why would you think she went and targeted you? Here go Bridget looking confused, like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how that happened. For me, that's why. How were you growing up? Like, it's given to me you have a jealousy streak about you because you want to be liked, you want to be included. And when you assume you're not included, you think people are jealous of you. You think people are set out against you. And that's not the case. Folks just don't come at you just to come at you. There's got to be a reason. And I don't think sometimes you recognize your part in that reason. And yes, sometimes Kenya has come for the new girl. She has done the most in her villain era. But Portia felt like maybe Britt was met with preconceived notions to assume that you have seen Kenya in that space with other girls and you were on the defense. But the person who you were trying to get that rise out didn't even care, disengaged with you at the moment. So I got to give it to Portia for that. Because it's going off about what was said. Bridget is a fan, and she wished for the opportunity to be in a confrontation with Kenya, thinking that she was going to come out on top, be the victor. Turns out she is the creator. She is the antagonizer for this situation. And it was over something that wasn't even that deep. Even Portia brought up her stupid moment at Shamia's party going after Drew. What if she got in the elevator and said, oh, I wish I had my pistol? Who do you think that was for? So for everyone in the comment section to say that Bristle never threatened Kenya, she never said nothing, that was a threat. Yes, she did. Veiled threats, empty threats, indirect threats, direct threats are still threats you need to take cautious of. Okay? Now, she did take full accountability that she should have never talked about a pistol, but the way that she is trying to just placate on that innocent factor about, I never wanted to look like I was trying to hurt Kenya. I never wanted to look like that. I didn't. But the way y'all give Britt the opportunity for her to clean up what she did, how come y'all didn't give the same grace to Kenya? That's the part for me. I wish that Kenya was given the same grace of figuring it out and now she can move forward without the way that she ended things. But we're continuing on. Let's go. So we got Angela. Angela is getting ready for Kenya's event. She asked Charles to come up into the room to help pick out an earring. He said, no earrings, just put your hair down. This man enjoys checking his wife. She wanted him to come. He said, why? I'm the only guy there. I don't need a haircut. I got a lineup. Yeah, that whole gray spider leg situation thing. Sure. So that's when Angela decides to tell Charles what Portia said, how she might have tea on him. Now, she ended with, it was a joke, but the way that he just went off, and he went off on Angela, as well as checking Portia about, does she know me? She don't know me. Does she know we don't play like that? Yeah, she barked on the wrong tree. Like, she needs to Google me. And when she Google me twice. I mean, the way that Angela was trying to take control of the conversation because there was no point, Charles was pretty much checking her about, why are you bringing me this shit when this could have been something you could have easily squashed? Like, why are you coming to me with this? You know I don't care about this shit. It bothers me that you think I want to hear this shit. But I feel like as a husband, you should be open for conversations or at least be a listening ear if Angela wants to tell you something. But nah, he just kept on going off on her. And when it comes to the confessional, yes, Charles says it like it is. He doesn't hold no punches, but it's like, I think that Angela kind of sometimes maybe look for a loophole, look for an opening to get what she wants out of Charles when she probably doesn't tell him entire situations. She gives him little pieces just to get him interested so he can show up the way she wants him to show up. But then as far as coming into the kitchen to eat his food, he wanted to say, did she wash her hands? Hell yes, she washed her hands like 10 seconds ago. Like, he enjoys like constantly nitpicking at her that I don't like. So then she wants to tell him about what's going on between her mom and her sister, and he jumps down her throat again. I'm like, why do you keep bringing me these problems? You don't want to hear that shit. Like, I don't talk to my sister for a reason. Like, why are you bringing this shit to me? Yeah, because we're married. Like, who else am I supposed to run to with my problems? So I understand that, but I feel like the way that Charles can tap into, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. He has no empathy, no compassion for anything. That's what I think Angela wishes, that he did not treat her in that way. Be a don't give a fuck to anything else. Just be more compassionate and, emotional with me. But nah, he probably is tired of the way that maybe Angela goes back and forth with trying to fix things, but then when things get too tough, she runs, she cries, and he don't want to keep on dealing with that. Like, why keep on going out of your way of being there for somebody who obviously don't appreciate you? Meaning, you're doing way too much of bending yourself over like a pretzel into supporting your mom and your sister, and they're not showing any appreciation for it. And you're trying to come up with a way to fix it, and it's not working. That's probably why, because Charles is like, I ain't got time to be doing this. That's why him and his family are probably not cool. Because Angela wants to say that the relationship between Charles and her family is not existent. He'll say hi, but as far as like opening up conversations, he don't have that. Because he said, I don't get in family business. And I understand. I understand not allowing family drama to come into your household. But if you did not want this type of drama, then why would you get married to someone who had this type of issue? Same with you. I mean, is there other things that Angela had to suck up and accept when it comes to you, Charles? Because I'm sorry, there's a rumor floating around that while you guys were separated, you fathered a child in your marriage. And she had to accept it at some point. So as far as like you don't give a shit or have any compassion over things that doesn't matter to you, I'm pretty sure you carry the expectation of her accepting things she wasn't ready to accept. But Angela, there's holes in your story. There's holes in the way you operate on things. I don't know. But moving on from there, we got Kenya Moore Hair Salon. It's her grand opening. She's so excited for it. Cynthia arrived. She's been there for Kenya. Went throughout a whole journey. We even go back to the Bailey agency, the whole coochie crack of it all. Then we see Kelly in her Sprinter van. Why did you get a Sprinter van for you and Britt? Is that your personal Sprinter van? Anyway, either way. So when Kenya comes out, her dress is beautiful. Her purple dress, her hair all wild and curled, gorgeous. And this is her first brick and mortar, and everything she do is for the motivation of her daughter, because I'm a boss. And I want to make sure my daughter knows she's a boss too. I love seeing the flashback of her and Miss Lawrence together, and it's an amazing memory. And Miss Lawrence thanks Kenya for being the inspiration that he needed to be in the beauty industry, and how Kenya was the first person to teach him how to sew hair clips on a track. That's a nice memory. So Bronchitis gets picked up by Kelly, and she has a huge bouquet of flowers and a car because she really wants to make things right. And Kelly, you really riding hard for Bristle over here. But it's going to be very interesting down the line about how you and her are not going to be friends anymore. And I'm going to want to know what set you off about not being friends with her. So, seeing how everything turned out, her whole salon is gorgeous. I love the flowers. I love the colors. She had a hair show, kind of like Bronner's Brothers. And if anybody remembers this hair show on Oxygen, I used to love that show. And they made some beautiful styles that was made completely out of hair. There was a woman who had a web and a spider. There was a woman who had a butterfly. And there was another woman who was pretty much the queen of Charlotte. Like, she had a whole hairdo of hair, and it was beautiful. So Drew arrived looking good. Cynthia has been MIA from everything. And she found out that Angela and Shamia made up, but she has not been out of the loop to discover if Portia and Drew have made up. Because Portia says she's still hot, right? So the more and more that I'm seeing how gorgeous Kenya's salon has turned out, because we missed out on quite a few of moments where we could have seen her building her salon, because we didn't see that much the season before, and she already had her soft grand opening that they did not cover. So that's why she went all out for this one. And the way that it all ended, I'm like, man, it's like half of me don't believe that everything she did went to waste, but I think the way it was executed could have had a bit of a dent in it. So with Botanical and Kelly are talking on the way to the event. Botanical want to let us know that her aunt passed, and her aunt is the sister of her deceased father. She had a stroke. She was on life support, but they pulled the plug. I'm saddened by that news for her, but I'm not gonna change my perspective on how you've acted before the news of your aunt passing. So great job trying to pull on the sympathy, but you're not getting it. And Angela was the only one who reached out to Kenya about what took place between her and Brillo Pad at the bank dinner, because she never thought it would have been this bad. And Kenya said, I appreciate you being the only one that reached out to me, because they flashed all of the messages, and I'm like, Angela, you being a bit two-faced right now, because in the end you felt like, I understand that you weren't feeling safe and you definitely didn't deserve that. I'm on your side. That's kind of interesting though, Angela. That's kind of like, I don't know if I should trust you. I mean, I like you, but for this, you made sure your hands weren't exactly dirty in this moment, because your favorite line is, I'm on your side, I'm on your side. The way you sent all those messages to Kenya, because you didn't think that her issue with Brillo Pad was that deep because of how it looked. So I do think that while in the beginning you were only listening to what Brillo's Pad's issues were, you didn't agree with them, you just listened. But then when you saw everything play out, did you jump to the other side with Kenya and understood her more because you saw it, you get it? Because I want to know how you're going to handle your situation with Britt too, because almost everybody is not going to be feeling Bristle the remainder of the season, but I can't wait to get to that. So Cynthia wanted to know what took place at Angela's event. So what else happened? Well, there was some back and forth, but then Brillo Pad mentioned something about a pistol. So was she packing, or did she just say that for the moment? I mean, even if she used it in an argument, that still wasn't cool. That could make anybody feel a bit weary of their safety. Excuse me. And is Brillo Pad coming? I don't know. The last time I spoke to her, she said she was uncomfortable. So in the sprinter, Kelly and Brillo Pad were discussing what took place with Kenya and Portia at her salon, and that Kelly was defending her by saying that's not how Baguette is. Baguette is a nice person. She keeps on saying that I did take it too far. She was wrong. And Shamia is back at the salon telling the ladies, I mean, even if it comes down to her giving an apology, she can't get mad that Kenya isn't going to be ready to receive an apology. You got to give her that space, which I agree with. Because I really want to know what's going to happen next week. Now that Kenya is gone, how is Bronchitis going to handle this situation and not play victim? I want to know. And it would have been better had production maybe halted this moment for Britt to show up, or have cut the remainder of the episode. Because Portia says Kenya is offended, and when you're offended, you want to retaliate, and that's where Kenya's headspace is. Because we see Kenya in the back throwing shots. I don't know if it was the nervousness of her grand opening, or if it's the nervousness of how she wants this to be a success for her and her daughter, and just seeing Bronchitis in the room and how she just can get flashes about what took place the night before. Maybe it was just all too much. I think that Kenya probably wished that Bridget didn't show up, because I feel like maybe I gotta figure out. Maybe she wished that Bridget didn't show up because that would have put her in that space of having to complete what she wanted to do. Because as soon as Britt and Kelly walked in, you can see Kenya's face. She was like, damn, she here. Like, I don't know. I felt like it was like last minute that Kenya had to do it. I don't know. What if Kenya shouldn't have done it? That's how I feel. Because you were only supposed to come in if you had a pink wristband. Y'all didn't have one. And before we get to that, Drew comes in, she hugs everybody, she gives a fake air kiss hug with Portia, and I just love how playful Drew was to her. And she said, okay, well, let's have a conversation. We've been dreading this. You know I'm going through a divorce. And he's been crazy. So why would I be dumb enough to mess with your baby daddy? Because I don't want his hot dog. You can have it, okay? It's nothing but business. Now, Portia's acting all uninterested, like she didn't want to have this conversation, but she's been dragging this out for a storyline because she can't talk about anything else because Simon has prevented her from mentioning him, as well as preventing her from filming in the house. She hasn't had any single scenes in regards to what's taking place. She's only been showing up for group events. And Drew was like, we just can't keep on going on like this. We can't act like each other don't exist. We can't be fake. Portia want to be like, are you done? Are you done? Well, no, I want to hear what you have to say. I want to see how you really feel and how you want to tell everything and how you want to get everything off your chest. So Portia is like, it is common sense. Why would you be messy and bring something like that could have been handled with a simple phone call? And the way that Drew was looking at Portia, she's like, what is happening? What's going on? Why are we like this? I don't like it. Like, I was living for Drew. The way that she was acting so oblivious, so naive, and being all soft-spoken and ditzy, I was here for it. Because it's like, who's playing the most dumb here? And I think Portia is, right? Because it's like, we didn't have a conversation after my birthday. We didn't have a conversation when Dennis decided to invite you for my birthday. That didn't happen. No. Like, I was living for it. Because it's like, I'm not going to give you the energy of you rattling my bones because I'm rattling yours right now because you don't have nobody else to save you. I'm giving you the conversation you're asking for and now you don't want it. Because Petty P over here doesn't want to admit that she got shit going on because Drew even said it. I know we're both going through a divorce and we need to discuss what you're really dealing with. And since Portia didn't like that, she walked away. I was like, here it is. Like, ain't no way Portia was handling Drew in this moment when Drew handled her. Because, Portia, you gonna miss me with your lack of attempts to try to say you were figuring out ways of meeting with Drew. And no, you wanted to have a conversation, but you claimed you got sick. And when she wanted to talk to you, you ignored her. You kept on rescheduling. And when she was in front of your face, you acted like you didn't want to have the conversation. But you made sure to clear up your schedule to have a conversation with Kelly. You had a conversation with Brisket over here. You met her with Kenya. Like, you made time with who you want to make time for. So don't make it seem as if you tried as well as we see Drew try. So Drew is like, I'm done. It's been 1, 2, 3 many times. I've approached you multiple times. And I feel like it's not fair. You want to approach me in front of the group. But when I do it to you and I walk away, door closed. Period, Drew. Period. Because for Portia to say, I got you. I see what you're doing. I see your plan. I'm moving on. And it's like, what exactly is that, Portia? For you to use it's her going behind your back to film with Dennis because he's helping her with her album. And now you feeling like she's using your people for her business. Okay, well, your messy ass creative director / music exec wanted you to feel some type of way about thinking that Drew or Dennis overstepped their bounds of asking him to help promote content for her music. That's going out of bounds. That's rude. That's messy. Please. If this is his job description and Dennis is asking him to do a job that he'll be paid for, it's not messing up your flow of putting content for your business. Like, make it make sense. Girl, you can miss him with that shit. And you're not his only client that he's helping promoting content, and his / title is music exec, meaning he can help Drew plan some photo shoots for her album cover or help do some video shots. Like, miss me with that. Good night. So When Kenya comes down, she sees Bristol over there, and Bristol wants to get her attention for the flowers, and Kenya pays her absolute dust. Doesn't acknowledge her, doesn't say anything. This is the energy you wanted from Kenya in the beginning that she never gave you. Now you're getting it. Now you're feeling she shunned away from me, she ignored me, and you had no choice but to accept it. So with dropping off the flowers, it looked like she left. So Kenya makes her speech about how this has been a labor of love. Everything she's done and built has been for her daughter. She's very proud of where she's at. She's happy with how far she's come. And she's tired of people of coming for her. Excuse me. So while she's doing her speech, Britt leaves. And thinking that she did her big one by accepting her olive branch. But girl, please, she don't want the flowers. She wanted you to leave and also take your flowers with you and your card. Because I don't want fake people. Okay. So Kenya mentions it hasn't been that much time from the dinner that she felt unsafe. Because she pointed out this woman who wanted to bring me these flowers and a card wanted to threaten me with a firearm. So can someone take these flowers, take them outside? I don't want them. Give it to a homeless person. I don't want fake people around me. The way that Kelly followed the man take the flowers, it's like, no. Throw those away. Yeah, but no. Toss them. Don't be in it. Okay, stay out of it, right? So this is me being tired of the people who want to keep coming for me because I'm that bitch, been that bitch, and I'll still be that bitch. And I did what? Pay that hoe dust. I said, oh my God. Right here, right now is when she should have just stopped because it was so cringe from this point. Like, I wish that Kenya would not have chosen to unload this clip at this moment. I wish she would have just gradually dropped breadcrumbs to get to the big, I got receipts on you. I wish she would have did it differently. Because the way that she carried this in her salon was just like, ooh, not a good look. And as far as this woman revealing to me that she got a pistol that she carries at all times and screaming, you don't know who the fuck I am. You don't know who the fuck I am. And she's like, I don't know who you are. But I did some research on you and I found some interesting photos of you and interesting information about you. So, Lord have mercy, Jesus. It's more than one. It is one poster, obviously, of Brisket when she had her normal face, normal lips, and everything in between. Before the nose job, veneers, fillers, Botox, all that. That's number one. Number two, another poster pretty much regarding her business, how it's a scam. And before we get to the third one, you can tell Kelly was extremely uncomfortable. So when it came down to seeing where this was going, Kelly walked off. And I'm not mad at Kelly walking off. That's how a friend should be. How I'm not going to allow you to disrespect my friend and you think I'm going to sit here and accept it? No, ma'am, I'm gone. Then Kenya mentions the last poster of Britt Edie performing fellatio. And it was all blown up. It was all over. Of course, they had to black the screen because Bravo can't show nudity. But here's my thing. As far as like y'all filming for this scene, there could have been some things y'all could have cut out instead of filming all the way to see what took place. Y'all could have cut it out if y'all didn't want to be a part of this moment. But I'm thinking that production or someone close to production allowed for everything to take place, allowed for the information to be revealed, allowed for the posters to be waiting. Because Kenya found all this information from a private investigator. And when everybody saw that, they were like, oh my God. Everybody was like, that's too far. That's too far. Even Cynthia was saying, girl, nobody wants to see this woman sucking dick. Like, what the hell is this? So I think that the way that King is set up for this moment, I think she chose to do it at the end of her event. It wasn't in the beginning. It wasn't in the middle. I think it was around the tail end of it, where everybody was just lingering around, hanging around, and everybody was shocked. Angela was shocked. Shamia was shocked. Portia was shocked. Drew was shocked. And it's like, I know we go tit for tat. I know we go petty. But when it comes to you saying you got receipts, it's a level where you're going to show it. And that's where it's like, woo-wee, that's interesting. So Kenya said, thank you for supporting me. Don't come for me unless I send for you. Okay? Now, here's the thing. I do think that majority of the cast members didn't like the way Kenya executed of going after Britt, but they're not mad with the way she went to get this information. Because, again, I said earlier, majority of these ladies don't like Britt later in the season. Kelly and Shamia were on a radio show to promote the season by saying their least favorite housewife was Britt. So I'm like, Kenya, you did go too far. What you did was absolutely 100% wrong. But I'm not mad at the way you retaliated to Britt for what she did. I just feel like, you know what? Everybody plays a part in this. Production, y'all did not handle this the way y'all should have when it came to Britt. Britt is not a victim. Neither is Kenya. I do remember her from her Tamron Hall interview. She did admit she did escalate things too far. She did. So once everybody leaves and they're all like, I think that's too much. That's too far. And it just ruined everything that Kenya set out to do. This was supposed to be for you and your daughter, but you just wasted all of your hard work on this one moment. It wouldn't have been like this. I wish that maybe Kenya would have just figured out a way to handle what took place with Britt, sat on it for a little bit, maybe tell producers, I don't want to have scenes with her. Give me a minute. Unless it's needed for us to be in a group scene, then you need to come up with a way for me and her to have a one-on-one conversation about moving forward. And if that one-on-one conversation didn't go well, Britt still want to act like Kenya's coming from her, then let's have another moment where it's another event or it's a dinner scene, and that's when Kenya makes her big moment of exposing Britt. You know, let it drag out, okay? Let it build. For everything to be unloaded in this one moment, it's like, fuck, Kenya, why did you do that? That wasn't right. That wasn't right at all. So Cynthia tells her, I don't know what happened, but I do know you. And I didn't like that you chose this place for you to do it. I think you're better than this. I think this is beneath you. And of course, Kenya says she's tired of people coming for her. And Cynthia looked defeated as far as being disappointed in Kenya, because Kenya did go through so many years of reaching this moment, of getting this done. Like blood, sweat, and tears. She says she's over $400,000 in. She wants this to be a success for her and her daughter. She does. So I do think that Cynthia was right for telling Kenya about it, about how the way she went about it wasn't right. But I'm like, oh, Lord. And then, you know, Portia wanted to act like she wasn't even there. She wanted to be demiked about it. And it's like, oh, Jesus Christ. But that's pretty much the end, because it just had a flash about, due to Kenya's behavior, we have ceased filming with her. So I don't know how the rest of the season is going to pan out. I don't know how often Kenya's name will be mentioned as far as what took place and what else is going to occur this season. You know, so again, Kenya, I do think that the way you went about it and you chose your event to do it wasn't the right thing. It was horrible. It was wrong. I'm not mad about the information, but I'm mad with the way you chose to use it. Did find out that Kenya is going to be answering questions on her YouTube channel next week on the 15th. So we might get some behind the scenes information we weren't privy to. I mean, I don't know. Is Kenya still under contract? Can she not answer any questions right now? I mean, since y'all decided to cease filming with her, I don't think she's obligated to not mention what else could have occurred. But I want to know. But y'all, that's it. That's it. That's all I have. Please stay tuned for my next video, and I'm going to see you guys later. Bye.